right, fans, with us today, he is a man on a mission. The number one contender for the Rocky Mountain Heavyweight Championship. Some people call him the final boss. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Bruce Wayans. What's up, my man?
Recording live. That's
Yes.
right. This is the final boss, Bruce Wayans. That was a fantastic intro, brother. Fantastic.
Thank you.
I could have done it better myself. The sun is shining on the boss. Sun's out, guns out. Make sure I got a good tan for when I go beat up Dustin.
That's right. The E's and B's veteran, Dustin Urich, as you know, fans, he's been on here a couple of times, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for this man right here today, folks, as we're going to dive into a little bit of the Bruce Wayans story. And also at the end, we're going to find out what's going down tonight. That's right, live in Denver, and also tomorrow night, live in Denver. Yeah. But before we get to that, Bruce, I got some questions I got to ask you, my man. Are you ready to rock?
I'm ready, but let me just say it is going down tonight, and it's going down tomorrow night. And the Vulture may have been on here twice, but this is number one for the final boss. Your number one contender, Dustin. That Rocky Mountain Pro Championship's coming home. Final boss, Daddy. Yeah. Now begin the podcast.
Yeah, we love it. All right, Bruce, let's get into it, man. Tell the fans and listeners out there, how did you get your start in wrestling?
I got my start in wrestling about 3.5, 4 years ago. Showed up to the Rocky Mountain Pro facility out in what is it? Out in Golden, way out in Golden, Colorado. At the Jeffco Fairground. Jefferkins. That's not a real word. At the Jefferkins Fairground. And I walk in and I meet Vince Russo right away. And his first tattoo ever is an Adam West Batman tattoo on his arm. Then I have a meeting with Matt Yaden, Russo, Titus O'Neil, and Hoodie. And they sit there and they say, man, you want to wrestle? I'm like, you damn Skippy, I want to wrestle. They were like, why you want to wrestle? I'm like, man, so I can headline the main event. So I can be the face on that poster, bringing the butts in the seats, making that money. Final boss is wrestling to make money. That's why I'm in the business. And before that, played football nonstop till about 2012. And then I started, I began being a sparring partner for Bobby Lashley, a punching bag. And I got half of my wisdom tooth knocked out my first day boxing by Bobby Lashley. And 2 years of getting beat up, learning how to fight. I said, you know what? This is cool. I prefer to wrestle, if you guys don't mind.
Right. Well, that's pretty good start. Some big names, obviously some great people to learn from. I've been following you now for a little over 2 years here at the E's and B's. You've progressed so much in my eyes. And I do think what's going down this weekend with the number one contendership is well-deserved. Well, let's dive into a few more before we talk about that. Tell the fans and listeners out there, Bruce, who's your favorite wrestler all time?
Fans and listeners, listen up. Bruce Wayans' favorite wrestler of all time is hands down the Madness, the Macho King, Randy Savage. He split the Ultimate Warrior's head open with a scepter in 1990 something. And I'm talking stitches, okay? Super glued that boy's head back together. And it was fantastic. And he gave the belt to Sergeant Slaughter, the only real G.I. Joe I've ever seen in my whole life. And I got every G.I. Joe. And you dig? Yeah. Every last one. I got the tanks, the planes, the boats, the blimps. I got all of them. And the only one I ever seen in real life was a Sarge. And Macho hooked it up. He put the belt on the Sarge because Ultimate Warrior didn't need it,
Right. Awesome. Well, obviously, as you see in the background, that's one of my favorites, probably one of the best promos back in the 80s and 90s. And I think that some of your work can kind of shine off of that because I believe that you have one of the better promos right now on the indie scenes. But that's just my opinion. Let me ask you this, Bruce. The movie of your life is coming out tomorrow. Who's playing you, and what's the name of it?
The movie is called Let's Get Dangerous. And who's playing the final boss? Everybody says Terry Crews.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Terry Crews because
All
he's
right.
the most famous person that they he's an A-lister.
Well,
Close
yeah.
enough.
I mean,
Terry Crews, you're
built the
A-lister.
same.
Terry Crews, listen to my podcast. Listen to the E's B's podcast.
There you go.
You're an A-lister, brother, and you're gonna star in the movie Let's Get Dangerous, the modern day story of the final boss, Bruce Wayans.
Yeah. I like it, Bruce. I like it.
Oh yeah.
How about this? If you could be anything else, Bruce, besides a wrestler, what would you be?
Here's the deal. This is the final boss, Bruce Wayans. Ain't no backup plan. You know what I'm saying? I jumped off that cliff. No parachute, daddy. Spaceships don't come equipped with rear view mirrors. They dip as quick as they can to the atmosphere. So, backup plan. Final boss, I don't have a backup plan. I'll tell you what I do have. The after wrestling. After wrestling, the plan, civil rights activists, for sure.
Okay.
Hands down. Like Muhammad Ali, or what's his name? What's Lou Alcindor's name? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Oh, or even better, anybody from Denver, young Chris Jackson used to play for the Nuggets,
Murray.
the point guard. Didn't miss a free throw for 2 years.
Yes, sir.
Used to sit on the bench during the national anthem out here in Denver, 1990 something, once again. And that is, Chris Jackson is known as Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. And I'm not converting to Islam, just to clarify.
Right.
Yeah, I just feel like, I should fight for justice when I'm done beating up suckers. But right now, I'm beating up suckers.
That's
and
right.
business is a booming.
That's why you're at where you're at right now. Let me ask you this, Bruce. What's been your most favorite match all time that you've been in?
Woo! I'll have to say Salt Lake Screwjob. It was the greatest fiasco I ever saw. I wrestled 3 matches back to back to fresh out of COVID at DCW. Shout out to Manny Lemons. Not calling you Manny Smith. I'm calling you Manny Lemons. The man and the brand and the lemonade stand. And I went out there and I beat up my tag partner, Chongo. Fisticuffs Incorporated. El Chongo Blanco, as they call him in Mexico. Right? I didn't make that up. But anyway, I'm beating up Chongo. Things are going like they're supposed to. And then, he says he kicked out. I say I won because that's what happened.
Right.
And then then the Black Horseman proceeded to beat up Chongo to his own music. It was fantastic. You should go check it out. DCW episode 20 something. Main event, daddy. Final boss versus Chongo. Salt Lake Screwjob. It's fantastic. I slammed him with the Chongo driver. That's his own finisher. Beat him with his own
moves on him. Whew, that's dirty.
Oh, it was delicious. It was worth it. Totally worth it. I'd do it again. You understand?
I believe you. I believe you. All right, boss. We just got a couple more for you here. I'll turn the tables over to you. Let the fans know where they can find you at. But before I do,
I forgot about Jackson Stone. Jackson Stone was an awesome match. Oh, and Corrente. There's still Corrente in there too.
Two solid opponents.
Yeah, well, there was a street fight where I beat a trash can with my baseball bat with Corrente inside of said trash can.
Nice.
But that's it. That's it for my favorite matches as up to now, up to date.
Right.
But I got a new favorite
we're talking.
match
Who knows? Maybe tomorrow night could be the night,
yeah.
right? We might have to chart that down, but we'll get to that here in just a second. I got to ask you the most famous question here on the E's and B's. Bruce, tomorrow you're making breakfast for any wrestling or wrestling personality. Who are you making it for, and what you making?
I'm making breakfast for Victoria, Tara, whatever her name is, and it's gonna be a breakfast brunch with Tara and Alicia Fox. No husbands allowed. and I'm making them bacon and eggs and sausage and
My gosh.
flapjacks. I'm making them girls flapjacks, and that way they can give me their wrestling knowledge, face to face
Sure. Yeah.
with a breakfast sausage on the table.
Let me ask you this one, Bruce. What's the top 3 podcasts you listen to right now?
Top 3 podcasts. Number 1, E's and B's. I've heard majority of these except for Dustin's. I skip them. Number 2 is the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast.
Okay.
Not to be confused with a pro wrestling podcast, or with a professional wrestling podcast, because I don't think there is one. I think they're all called that. But the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, those are my boys, and they're good people, and they did a great podcast. And number 3, it's a tough one. I got to give it to Devin Alexander, local radio talent out here. I believe he's got a new show up in Boulder.
Okay.
And he's doing good things. He's taking care of my young protege, the Savage Saint, 20-year-old phenom. And yeah, man, these podcasts, when everything got shut down, man, Final Boss ain't fading out of the spotlight, you dig?
Right.
So I've been doing podcasts, everyone I can get my hands on. And this is the one I've been dying to do, brother.
Man, we've been dying to have you on. It's been an honor and pleasure having you on, but we got just a couple more, and I'll turn the tables over to you. But I got to know, Bruce.
Let's roll.
What would it mean to you to be the RMP champion after this weekend?
It would mean, you know what it would mean to me? It would mean that the RMP championship overnight will become the most important independent wrestling championship in Colorado, from coast to coast, from Canada to Mexico. I might go to Old Mexico, I might go to New Mexico. That belt and I are going to travel the world when I'm done. The Rocky Mountain Pro Championship will be the international acknowledged championship in the hands of the final boss, Bruce Wayans. That belt is going to space, outer space. It's going to the moon and back. And I might just stay on the moon and send the belt.
That's right.
I haven't thought that far ahead. I just put gas in the spaceship, Daddy.
Awesome. And I can't agree more with you, buddy. I think that belt was to be wrapped around your waist. Obviously you've been doing a little bit of work out East Coast there at OVW. I just think that you would maybe take that belt to another level, and it would be very cool to see in my eyes. I got one more for you, Bruce, before I turn the tables over to you and let you know, or let my fans know where they can find you at. But I got to ask you, when it's all said and done, my man, what do you want the Bruce Wayans legacy to be?
The greatest on the mic, the best elbows in the business, the best looking man that your promotion can book, the best smelling wrestler in the locker room, cocoa butter, no coconut oil. The man, I want the people to remember the second rope superstar. I want people to remember that no matter what show they went to, when they see a Batman logo, they ask themselves, what's the final boss doing? They remember me. They tell their kids about me. They tell their grandparents about me. The final boss is going to retire generations worth of famous. And that haven't even got started on the 6 billion people in China, because they're next.
Awesome. Well, before I get you out of here, my man, let all the fans and listeners at home and listening in their car rides know where they can find you at on the old social media networks.
All right, here's the deal. Recording live, the final boss, Bruce Wayans. And if you're looking for the final boss, you need to go to Facebook and type in Bruce Wayans. You need to go to Instagram and type in Bruce Wayans. You need to go to Twitter and type in Wayans Bruce. I had nothing to do with that. You need to go to YouTube and type in Bruce Wayans. and subscribe and follow and check in and see what shenanigans I'm up to, because that is all I do is super troopers. You know what I'm talking about? Straight shenanigans.
Great shenanigan. That's right.
If you're looking for the final boss, you go to the E's and B's podcast and you listen to every word the boss says. You listen to every answer to every question, and you learn that this is what the greatness sounds like. This is what the role model sounds like. This is what the humble champion presents to the fans, to the friends, to the family, and to the suckers that wish that they could come out and do what I do, because they got to get up early and do squats like I do. They got to do push-ups in the office of the final boss sitting behind me. You see this window? I know you can see it. Hey, man, you can't see it on the podcast, but this window's drop dead gorgeous. That's where the final boss is sitting. And if you don't want to work this hard, and if you don't want to practice, and you don't want to be the best, then watch the final boss. I'll do it for you.
That's right, folks. You heard it from him. And if you're going to be in the Denver area, going down tonight, the Colorado Cup, going down tomorrow, Milestone. It's the second rope superstar. They call him the final boss. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Bruce Wayne. All right, my man. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Right.